friends. Welcome back to Therapy in the Great Outdoors. Laura Park Figueroa here, and I am going to pull back the curtain a little bit today, as I am known for doing, and share some fail learns. That's my word for failure that we learn from, keeping that growth mindset in mind, as we always need to do as business owners or entrepreneurs, and some wins from the first year inside of the Business Hive, which is my year-long group coaching program for nature-based business owners. And with each fail, learn, and win that I share, I am going to share the takeaway or what is applicable to you as a nature-based therapist and business owner. So there are lessons to be learned here from my reflections on things that actually apply to nature-based practice as well. Now, before I dive into those fail, learns, and wins, I do want to let you know that the Business Hive is open right now for enrollment. That is part of the reason I am doing this episode right now. We are open for enrollment. We're taking it by applications only this year until July 28th, which is Friday next week at 12 p.m. Central Time. 2023. If you're listening to this in the future, you can go to therapyinthegreatoutdoors.com/hive and find out when we open again for enrollment. Yeah, let's dive right in. The first mistake I made was being too nice. So I just made a reel about this on Instagram because I feel like I had this moment today. And I had kind of thought about it before because I talked very openly with people in the program about it last fall maybe. But today I had a moment where I was at the gym and it was a really, really hard, long workout. That's not typical at my gym. I go to a CrossFit gym, but typically CrossFit is like a warm-up, a lift, and then a very short, intense workout. This was a 40-minute long, intense workout. And I almost didn't go to the gym because I didn't want to do it. But I did go. It was me with like 15 guys in the class. I don't know why no other women showed up today, but it was just me with all these men. So I knew right away I was going to be the last person finishing this workout within the 40-minute time cap. And I finished at 30:39, like 20 seconds before the time cap I finished. But my point is, it was really hard. And during that workout, I realized that the reason that I was able to keep going was because the coach was saying my name, was noticing when I stopped, was calling me out, was encouraging me to keep going. And that helped me to do the work, right? And my favorite coaches at the gym are the people who hold me accountable, the people who call me out, the people who notice me and demand that I do the work, right? And I want to be that kind of coach for nature-based business owners. In the beginning of running the Business Hive, I think I was nervous that people are busy, they have children, they have lives, they have things going on. Some people are building their business on the side of working another job. And I felt kind of bad calling people out and holding them accountable and really asking them to do the work and to get it done and to set deadlines and to check back in with them. And in the late fall, I started to do that more. And I asked them what they wanted. And they said, like, no, we're paying you to tell us, hold us accountable, right? So I think I was just afraid of not wanting to overwhelm people and not wanting people to feel like I was judging them. I am a very judgmental person. I know that internally. It's something that I fight against. I know it's a weakness of mine that I am a judgmental person. And so I think I overcorrected for that. And now I'm going to lean more into my hold them accountable, kind of keep people on task and call them out and make sure that they're doing what they need to do in the program. So I am doing a better job now with accountability, and I have systems in place now, which I'm going to share in a little bit in the wins section about how we're going to do that and really hold people accountable. So I'm super excited about this next year. But the learning here for you, I think, as a nature-based business owner is that I think in the same way that I was being too nice maybe and not wanting to overwhelm people, sometimes we do this as therapists, right? We're not willing to tell parents the truth or tell them what they really need to do to make progress with their children. And so I think thinking of ourselves like coaches is a good kind of, what do they call it? Like a metaphor, is that the right word? For how we work with parents. I mean, sometimes we even call it parent coaching, right? Some of the work that people do as therapists with the parents. So yeah, just don't be afraid to tell the truth and to hold people accountable. Okay, the second fail learn that I had was that I didn't. So it's a year-long program. It starts people enroll at the end of July, and then we start it in late August, and then it goes through the next July. But the funny thing was I had calls set to end in May, and that ended up feeling really odd that we were ending our calls in May and then going to do like a final celebration in July. So basically what I ended up doing was scheduling in some calls for the summer, and I'm going to keep it that way. So the calls are going to go from like late August until like, I think November or early December, maybe. We take a long break for the holidays, and then we come back in early February. We go through end of May, and then we're going to take a little break for summer and then do like end of June through mid July, kind of 3 or 4 calls during the summer just to like touch base, have some final goals, and then do a big party at the end, which as I record this, our final celebration party for the Hive is tomorrow, and I can't wait. I'm so excited. I've planned all these fun things, and it's just going to be a great gathering with everyone in there. So I did change that for next year. So the takeaway for you here is when you create a program, think about what the final part of it is going to be like. Okay. So for families, like if you're going to create a summer camp program that runs for 2 weeks, well, what is that final day going to look like? And what is that final experience with your business going to look like for the family? Because there's something called the peak end rule. And that means that most people will remember like the way they felt like at the very end of the program versus all the great moments throughout. So if you end on a low note or end on a kind of ho-hum kind of event or happening in your program, then that's what they're going to remember. They're not going to remember the great times they had before that, right? So pay attention to the peak end rule and make sure that you're creating your programs with ending on a high note, essentially. So that's what we're doing in the Hive this year as I edited during the program. And for next year, we're keeping that the same. Okay. Other fail learns I had was that I planned on doing overlapping cohorts. So I had planned originally to open enrollment in July and January every year and have year-long cohorts, but they're going to overlap, right? So like a cohort would start in July and go through the next July, and then a new cohort would come in January, and there'd be kind of mixing of the cohorts. Well, like I said on a past podcast, I didn't do a very good job with my launch in January. We only had one person enroll. She's fabulous. She's staying in. So she's kind of adopted by this cohort and will be adopted by the new cohort for her last 6 months. So she is in the program, but I didn't really think about all the logistics with that of having overlapping cohorts. So it ended up being a blessing in disguise that we didn't have a huge number of people enroll in January, because I don't know that I want to keep doing it that way. So I don't really want to launch this program twice yearly. And so what I decided to do with my admin team was to limit it to 20 people and enroll one time per year. Now, I am keeping it an option, right, to enroll mid-year if we don't enroll to 20 at this launch right now when we're enrolling and taking applications for the program. But I'm hopeful that in future years, with as many people that are entering the field of nature-based work, and we have 61 people on a wait list at this point in time, and we have 20 spots. So, and we already have, I just sent out the email with the application. We already have some applications in. So I do think that eventually, if not this time, eventually we will be able to launch once a year, which feels really great to me. The takeaway for you in a nature-based practice is this is similar actually to how we do enrollment in my nature-based business. We don't enroll people in our programs year round. Like, we don't have multiple enrollment periods. Our main enrollment period is during the summer for the next school year, and they enroll for the duration of the school year. So if we have spots, of course, in the fall, we will take other applicants, right? And they will start in late into the groups. But we really try to minimize the amount of time that we're having to promote programs being open. And that has worked pretty well in my business. Now, this fall we're growing. I have more employees. And so I do need to do a little bit more active marketing to make sure that we get enough people in to fill all those groups. A lot of times with groups, you need 10 applicants to make one group because the mix just needs to be right of the kids and the ages and their needs and all of that. So anyway, the less you need to promote and launch openings of programs, the better. That's the takeaway here. And then my final fail learn is that I am really charging too little for this program. I am going to keep the rates the same. It is $347 a month now, which if what I am giving away in this program was being done in the general business world, it would probably be between 1,000 and 2,000 a month. I'm not going to raise the rates right now, but I may need to raise the rates in the future because I want people to feel like they are getting supreme value for their money. And also I need to make sure that I can cover the costs in the business and be making a decent salary while I'm running this business, right? And paying for all of the supports that are involved with it, all the admin support and all of the tech and all of the stuff behind it. So I'm going to keep the rates as is right now because I know that nature-based business owners do not tend to be rolling in the dough, especially when they're early in starting their practice. But I do think that in many ways, when a program has been proven and it works, which mine has been, it's worth whatever the rate is raised to, essentially. Good business owners only raise their rates when they are maxed out and have tons of reason to raise their rates. So I reserve the right to raise rates in the future. That's what I'm going to say for the fail learn there. All right, let's go on to the wins. Well, and the raising the rates, that's a lesson for you in your nature-based practice. Please, please, please charge enough to cover your business and to pay yourself and to make a profit. Okay. I remember on a coaching call at some point, I don't think it was recorded actually. I think it was one of the TGO Together calls that we do, which are just free calls inside the Therapy in the Great Outdoors community for supporting members. We don't record them. It's just time to be together. People can ask me business questions or we talk about nature-based practice issues, things like that. I remember on one of those calls, there was someone who was really struggling. She had been offering a free service in the community and then was going to start charging for a play group or something like that. And we were talking through it, kind of processing her feelings about it. And everybody was kind of weighing in. And when I asked her, so what are you thinking about charging? And she was like $5. And I was like, oh my gosh, no. And first of all, don't be this distressed over charging $5. People pay more than at Starbucks for a small latte for $5, right? So first of all, that's if you're gonna worry about charging someone $5, just put it out of your mind because they pay more for coffee or waste money at Target than that, right? What it also illustrates is that we need to be charging more for our services. We need to charge what our services are worth at the going rate in our communities. I'm not going to say that everybody needs to charge a certain amount, but you need to do the work to know what others are charging and know the value that you bring to the table and be able to raise your rates and to charge what is congruent with the value that you're offering to people. Okay, the wins. The year-long program was a total success. There were so many great relationships. There was lots of time for people to make progress on things. There was time for people to have setbacks. Some people had to move, in the middle of the program or whatever. And there was time for people to have setbacks and then kind of dive back in and get back started again. I just loved the year-long model. I loved really getting to know these business owners. I literally have been in tears when I've gotten off calls because of how wonderful the human beings are who are in this program. And I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful for the way they have built relationships. They've encouraged one another. They have just been really there for each other and supporting one another. So positive, but also willing to, tell the truth in love and give their honest opinions about things when people share business questions or things inside of our discussion forum. So a takeaway for you as a nature-based business owner from that may be to think about having longer programs. And I know this has worked in my nature-based practice as well, but longer programs really gets people committed and that allows for time for progress. So just a thought, a consideration, could you add a little bit of length to some of your programs in order to make them more successful, to help relationships form more deeply, and for people to really ultimately get the outcome that you want them to have from your services? Okay, another win is that the Circle platform is phenomenal. I love this membership platform that I'm using. It's called Circle. The free community is on it, but then we have private spaces for the Business Hive. First of all, if this is your first time listening, the Therapy in the Great Outdoors community is free. Please go to therapyinthegreatoutdoors.com and join us inside the free community. You can also upgrade your membership to be a supporting member for $7 a month. There's no commitment. You can cancel anytime. That supporting membership gets you access to some other resources and those calls that I just mentioned and things like that. So the Circle platform has been fabulous for the free community, but it also works so well for a private coaching community inside of there. So I'm really thankful for that. Takeaway for you as a nature-based business owner is to consider the technology that you use to support your business, okay? Getting good technology. I see all the time that business owners in general, therapy business owners in general, are very hesitant to pay for an EMR or to pay for anything when they start out. And I totally understand that. I remember when $50 a month was like a really big deal for me to spend in my business. And it's smart. It means you are a smart business owner at the very beginning of when you start to cut and save costs as much as possible. Your business will be profitable to the amount that you are able to manage your budget and not spend money on things that you don't need. Now, I am guilty of paying for things that I haven't needed in my business as we got more money, right? But initially, when you first start out, it is very important to make sure that you don't spend money on things you don't need. However, you will reach a point in your nature-based practice where you are spending so much time managing all of the communication with families and all of the forms and all of your notes and all the things that really to invest in an EMR, electronic medical record, is just, it's stupid not to, right? Like it's going to save you so much more time than the money that you're investing into it. Okay, so pay attention to the tech that you use. Other wins. The creation of resources went really well. So I had a bunch of business resources inside of the Business Hive. Basically, inside the Business Hive, you get everything that I have in my business, I share with you. Any resource I've created, any form that I have, anything that I have, I tend to share inside of that community. And so what was really cool was as we had different things come up on calls, I could pull from my resources in my business and then share those into the community. So that went really well. I created things too as questions came up, but generally they were things that I had that I ended up like kind of making a template out of and then sharing. So like, for example, job descriptions or job applications or volunteer descriptions and applications or 5R work plans, which is basically a description of everything involved in a certain position in your business. I have a spreadsheet called What Can I Afford to Pay an Employee? And that spreadsheet helps you figure out, based on what a person will work, how much you can afford to pay them. And it auto calculates things. It's incredible. It's probably my most valuable resource. It's worth the whole cost of the Hive just for that spreadsheet. But anyway, so that went really well. And so a thing to apply to your business as a nature-based business owner is to think about creating resources that can help the people that you serve, right? And package those into your services in some way to add value for your clients. And finally, I took a course called Breakthrough Facilitation this year because I do facilitate so many of these coaching calls, and it was such a great course. I learned so much. I have a framework in place for our calls that really works. It like gets people involved and active, and it's not like a boring Zoom call. And it's just been really, really great for those coaching calls. Lesson here, be willing to learn and grow and take initiative to do professional development in areas where you need to grow and learn, right? It will make your work so much better. And we're always growing and learning. We always have so much to learn, and it makes your work fun. It's exciting to be able to grow and learn how to do something better, to serve your people well. All right. The last thing I have to say is that we have 7 people that were very active inside of this last year in the Business Hive that I have asked to return for supporting the new cohort as alumni mentors. So they are all at various stages of business. And I thought that 1 or 2 of them would say yes. All 7 of them said yes. So it is not just going to be me leading this program. it is also going to be the presence of all of these alumni mentors who have been through my curriculum, who have done the work in the program. I only invited people who have shown up on calls, done the work in the program, and really been involved and active, right? And this is huge, you guys. I am so excited because this is where we can really do accountability. I'm one person, right? Like I'm not able to hold 20 people accountable and remember everybody's individual business. I do the best I can, right? And in the text and in the discussion forum, right? But to have alumni mentors, this is going to be huge because I can assign 1 or 2 people to each mentor and they can be checking in, right, on the goals that people have and making sure they're making progress. So I just think this is going to be a huge benefit to the program. And I am super, super excited that all 7 of them said yes. It made me so grateful and made me thankful that there's value there. I mean, that's what it communicated to me, was that they see value in giving back to the program and supporting other people and still having access to the community as well. So, all right, I was going to talk more about what you get inside of the Business Hive, but I think I'm just going to let you all, if you're interested, go to the website. It's therapyinthegreatoutdoors.com/hive, and you can read all about it there. All the FAQs are there. You can also just shoot me a DM inside of the Therapy in the Great Outdoors community, and I'll answer any questions you have. And we have applications open until next Friday, July 28th at noon Central Time. And that is when we will close for enrollment for this cohort. So that's it, y'all. I hope you got some takeaways for your nature-based business and that you found some things that you can apply and that maybe helped you have a profitable and sustainable nature-based practice. So today, I want you to, as I always say, get outside, connect with the people you love, reflect on your business and life, and enjoy the business and practice of therapy in the great outdoors. See you next time. Bye.